Hello, this is Liam McDermitt with NJ.org, and we are here in beautiful Zuccotti Park, where every day is Halloween, and today in particular is Halloween. We're here to find out what the protest is all about.
I'm in the insurance business by trade, and I'm also a Gulf War veteran. And when Obamacare passed, I started my own business based on the idea of bringing the benefits of Obamacare to my customers. So I was a proponent of the law. The more I learned about it, the more I learned how bad it is for individuals and businesses. For the first time in our history, the federal government is allowed to take money from individuals and corporations, give it to a private company, and neither the company nor the federal government has to give any services or products in return for the money they collect.
Son, here, why don't you take one of these prickers and see if you can actually deflate Wall Street, okay?
Do I have to put this pricker in my urethra, or how does this work?
No, you try to deflate me. I am a representative of Wall Street, all white, no blood on my hands, and I doubt if you'll be able to draw any blood from this little pricking.
Oh, I understand. Okay, so let me go ahead and give this a try here.
Okay. Give it everything.
Feeling that?
Nah, feeling
nothing.
Nothing. Tell me when you're in. Nothing.
Wow,
Right,
that is
right. See, that's the way it is. Actually, that's the way Wall Street is. You can shoot all the arrows that you want, and they don't seem to bleed. So we got to keep this up.
And what are you exactly here protesting?
That's a good question. I've been here since the beginning. So my whole spiel is that I want a direct form of democracy, and I want people's opinions, no matter what they be, to be represented in their lives.
Okay, so direct democracy and people's opinions
Of whatever, like if you're a socialist, you should be able to vote socialist, and that should be, if you're the majority, you should have that reflected in your community.
Okay,
So I don't really have a personal, like I would like to end the drug war and foreign policies. Like I have my own spiel, but my main reason being here is so other people can have their own voice in their lives.
Sir, what exactly are you here protesting?
I'm here because I'm outraged that my congressman, Steve Rothman, sold out to Wall Street and super wealthy corporations by voting for the Korea and Panama Free Trade Agreements. The Korea Trade Agreement basically makes it illegal, in effect, to regulate Wall Street, prohibits regulation of too big to fail, toxic derivatives, all the things that caused this financial crisis in the first place. And the Panama Trade Agreement is going to help corporations hide their money in overseas bank accounts so that they don't have to contribute to our tax base. So while the little guy has to pay their taxes, corporations are using Panama as a loophole, and Steve Rothman is facilitating this.
No, they don't, sir. I mean, they don't. The Federal Reserve they don't lend money to anybody. They lend it to the 22 primary dealer banks and some of the second tier ones. But
they have the shares too, right? So they're pretty much just giving money to themselves.
The Federal Reserve has the shares in the banks.
The shares of the Federal Reserves are owned by all the big banks.
The Federal Reserve is not a publicly owned corporation. There are no shares.
It's a privately owned corporation.
No, it's a government. It's a government entity.
The governors are assigned by the president, but it's a private corporation. If you don't believe me, look at John L. Lewis versus the United States of America, sir, and you will find there in black and white print that it is a private corporation.
Occupy Wall Street, here to make sure your comfort, whether you want a hug, shoes, hat, gloves, tent, sleeping bag, or blanket.
How about a job? Can we do that?
You could volunteer to give some sorting out into storage. We could sure use volunteers, whether they're volunteering their time or volunteering more coats. We could use more coats.
Excellent. And how long have you been down here for?
3.5 weeks.
So that's really since the beginning, huh?
Yeah.
Have you?
I think it's been like a week longer, but I'm not sure.
Have you noticed any change in the crowd or the mood around here?
Definitely more cooperation amongst people, and even if they're working or unworking, everybody's here relaxed more. They're not so stressed on like the greed situation. They're here like, how can I help? How can I be helpful? And there's less discrimination here. Everybody's feeling like one, like they want to do stuff together. And that's how the whole world should be, whether it's the work class or relaxing, you're going dining, anywhere you should be supposed to be more togetherness.
Instead of having the New York Stock Exchange representing perpetual, forever corporations, we need to have what they call the People's Exchange, 3 of them actually, sitting on the Oval Office in the center of that, and one in real time. and one in the Congress and one in the Senate, and it should represent all 50 states, all counties, and all the way down to the zip codes. And by the way, all 16-year-olds and all 17-year-olds should be empowered to vote alongside the 18-year-olds. And we don't have to go and start pulling levers at a school, at a public place, at a voting booth. We can vote right from our living rooms. That's when America's going to rise again, and the dollar's going to reign supreme. And if China, that's why we want Mitt Romney, because he's going to get tough with China et al.
What would President Obama have to come out here and say for you to be satisfied to the point where you would go home feeling like you had done what needed to be done?
Well, I actually voted for him, and I'm very disappointed that he hasn't done more. After the economic crisis that we had, he had a chance to actually have meaningful reform, and he didn't take advantage of it.
How are you tonight, sir?
I am enthused by what I see.
Is that right? And what exactly are you doing here?
I'm supporting the people that are here because this is a momentous moment in history. This is a good idea, and there's no stopping it.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. And what exactly do these people hope to accomplish, and do you hope to accomplish by supporting them?
Well, them and myself would hope to accomplish economic equality on a global scale.
Okay, and how do you envision that coming to fruition?
By winning the hearts, souls, and minds of men.
I like for the middle class not to have to support their own selves anymore, where as opposed to any help that they get comes out of their own taxes.
So you think the middle class shouldn't be supporting themselves?
Well, I mean, I'd like to see a little bit of help from the upper class. I mean, aren't we all supposed to help each other if that's the case? No? Concierge.
You're a concierge and they hired somebody cheaper than you to replace you?
I was getting paid $60 an hour, and I got replaced with two people that were getting paid $6.75 off the books.
Okay.
That's the same tale that we hear throughout the states everywhere. Not that, I mean, I have nothing against immigrants. I come from immigrant parents. But,
But you do have something against them when they take your job.
Well, of course, exactly. I mean, I want the same kind of opportunity. I want the same American dream that everyone else wants. So, yes, it tickles my pickle.
Hello. This is Liam McDermitt with NJ.org, and we are here in the bowels of the Occupy Wall Street movement to find out what it's all about. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Can you tell us a little bit about why you're here?
I'm here to support my friends and my family in the struggle that our country is going through with the economy and how messed up things are. I believe a lot of tax policy should be changed. I don't believe all these corporate companies should be supporting these people's campaigns, election campaigns, and that's pretty much it. I have some other views too.
I would definitely change the way societies run. For instance, anything with its own interest can't be part of the government. That's a very big thing. That's how corruption begins.
Can you repeat that?
Anything that has its own interest should not be part of the government at all. That is where corruption begins.
Anything that has its own interest. Could you elaborate on that for me a little bit? I'm not exactly understanding what you mean by that.
Sure. Well, right now we have corporations that are part of the government pretty much. And, people say corporations are part of the government. Of course, corporations are the government right now in America and across the world. Corporations send in lobbyists and corporations pay off senators in order to make their own laws.
We repossess, we take the things you used to call your own. We repossess, we redistribute every car and phone. We repossess, we make you wish you'd never taken a loan. Your pain is our gain, our joy, your sorrow. We repossess and strip you to the bone. Strip you right down to the bone.
I teach yoga here at Occupy Wall Street. We call ourselves Occupy Yoga.
That is wonderful. And have you found a lot of people are interested in doing yoga here?
Yeah, I felt the first time I got here there was a very strong sense of community and spirit here. And what I teach is Kundalini Yoga. It teaches a lot of meditation work and a lot of spiritual work, and I found that there's a great synergy between that and the people that are here. So it was a natural melting pot. It was like a rich vein of spirituality, of commonality that people here have, and intertwining that with the movement, really giving people a strength of spirit, I feel is like where the correction really begins. Because people who are like in the 1%, so to speak, who are fulfilled inside, they wouldn't be looking outside of themselves for happiness and fulfillments, and they would see what they're doing in a greater sense of community.
My grandma. My grandma
Hi,
will
Mom.
kill
We
me.
love porn. Thanks.
Shut up.
Your grandma would kill you just for being down here?
She's scared. She's 80 years old. When we first walked through, she said, oh, "Get out of here! You're gonna die." She's 80 years old. So she doesn't know we've been here a month.
So it's not really your political motivations that would upset her. It's just a safety issue being in New York.
It was safety, you know, for her in the protest. Like I said, she's 80 years old and she's scared for my safety, but she doesn't know how safe it is here. She doesn't.
And what exactly are you protesting here?
I'm protesting, you know what? We are the 99%. We are, you know, some of us are middle class, some of us are lower class. We're tired of putting out money, paying taxes, and everybody in these buildings can put their feet up. You know, there's money in the economy that's being hidden, stolen, and we're paying more in taxes, and the people that can afford them aren't paying.
And what are you guys here protesting exactly?
Food justice and social justice for all.
So justice for carrots and people.
Mostly the people, but the carrots too, yes.
And what would you change about the current food system?
Well, everything. I think right now poor people are eating or only have access to a lot of unhealthy foods, fast food, and I think it's important for everyone to have access to affordable and fresh, whole foods.
Okay, that's a wonderful platform to be on. What about the money in politics? Are you here to protest that as well, or?
Yeah, definitely. Like there should be more money put into education. I'm also a U of T member, an educator, and I think more money should be going into education and social justice.
So, if in your view, you would just allow the banking system to fail?
Well, I think that's kind of capitalism, isn't it? In its purest form, capitalism. The market will work itself out. So, you know, if in fact these banks have been failing, which they have been, minus our bailouts, they would have, then that's in fact what should happen and what does happen to smaller businesses. So yes, I do think that they should fail, as capitalism would dictate.
I'm here because I'm a middle-class American and I'm fed up with the inequity in the system. The top keep getting richer and richer and richer exponentially, and the corporations are making huge profits, and they're telling us that they're broke. They're crying poverty, and they're cutting our wages, they're cutting our benefits, they're cutting our pensions, and they're telling us we're too expensive. I'm a state employee. I'm a member of the American Federation of State, County, Municipal Employees. I'm a union member. I work for the state of Connecticut in a hazardous duty occupation. I'm a youth services officer. I work with juvenile delinquents age 13 to 19. And the rich people who are driving the agenda are telling me that I'm not worth what I make. And they make $10, $11, $12 million a year and think nothing of it. And they take more and more, they're taking more and more, and we're getting less and less, and it's not fair. My wife is a school teacher. She's an elementary school teacher, another union member. They're shitting on the unions, they're tearing us apart.
How are you today, man?
Stop the corruption of big corporations.
Oh, okay. And you say, why do we even need Wall Street? That's a pretty good point. I never actually thought of that.
We don't need Wall Street.
Do you think?
Don't need Wall Street.
So you would be just fine if they just blocked that street off and just never let anybody on it again?
No, not block the street.
Oh, you mean shut down the stock exchange?
Shut down the corruption, the stock exchange. Right.
Okay, great. We appreciate your time, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
As a student, I want there to be a student movement, but also a movement connected to labor struggle. That's why I'm supporting the workers that have been locked out by Sotheby's, and I'm also working on campus to organize students, mobilize them, get them involved in politics, get them fighting for some radical ideas, some student rights.
Who wrote the Communist Manifesto?
Karl Marx.
Right, so Marxism is communism, right?
Yeah, but there's a difference between Stalinism and Maoism.
and Marxism as Marx wrote about it.
As Marx wrote in its sort of purest form. Would you like to see that take hold here in America?
Yeah, because the difference between what you're talking about is, rather than the state controlling everything, what we want to see as socialists is the workers controlling everything, because they're the ones that produce everything.
Fair enough. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, no problem.
This is Liam McDermitt reporting for NJ.org. We are here at the Occupy Wall Street movement. Now, I've been here all day interviewing people, and there's a lot of different opinions, a lot of different false opinions, I would say. A lot of good intentions, though. I think that the idea of taking money out of politics is a fantastic one, that having political campaigns that can be funded by PACs that get money from foreign governments, corporations, anybody, and they can donate the money anonymously, is going to spur on a corrupt system. I myself used to actually work on Wall Street. I brokered Eurodollars and traded electricity, which is two of the biggest rackets out there, so I can certainly tell you that it is corrupt. I think one thing people fail to understand is that the banks are the ones that print the money, not the federal government. So when you have these enormous banks, which are known as the primary dealers, writing out these complex derivatives with all this additional risk, what they're doing is printing money. And what they did do was print way too much of it, and now we have a situation where nobody knows what money's worth because there's too much of it out there. The Federal Reserve continues to leave the interest rates at zero. The problem with that is that now when people are trying to evaluate equities or commodities or anything, it is all priced in US dollars. Now, when you don't know what a US dollar is worth, it's impossible to price out anything else based on that. And I think that's a major problem that has been overlooked by the movement and politicians. It's just really basic economics. Thank you very much.